And we are live. Welcome to Rijooviness TV, and thanks for sharing your time with us again today.
Thank you so much. And my name is Sue Alexander, and I'm here with Reg Lenny today on Rijooviness TV, and we have a great action-packed show for you today about wisdom and empowering yourself and staying positive in a really changing world. And one thing that's really come up over the last few days is how life has really changed for a lot of people, and they're feeling that they're out of control of the power that they have within inside themselves. And we really wanted to bring a guest on with us today to really share with you how you can shine in this changing world and how you can really support yourself with your mental wellness and how much unlimited potential that we all have. And our guest today really does an awful lot of work with really supporting people in a community of love and interaction so that people can feel absolutely amazing. And I'm glad to see that we've got loads of people joining us from all over the world. We are here in Barbados, finally sunny again after St. Vincent and the volcano decided to cloud our sort of sense of happiness, I think, really, with a huge ash cloud. So for the last few days we've been a little bit deep in ash, I think is how we felt, and it certainly changed our mood, and that's why we really felt that sometimes things happen completely out of the blue and it takes your power away. You were like, but this is not how it
can
is.
take your power away.
It can take your power away.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel that all of us sometimes are sideswept by a situation, and we clearly we didn't see it coming, and we felt, wow, how many things have happened over the last year that people didn't see coming. And actually a lot of people haven't coped with that or felt that they were empowered by that, and for other people they've used that same time and they have reinvented themselves and they've really supported their own well-being by change. And it's having those tools in your armory to give yourself strength and the people around you, and also the community that you have around you is really, really important. Because if you're surrounded by negativity and other people that are bringing you down and have their own values, their own opinions, and they feel that you should feel the same way as they do because it gives them power, then sometimes that's not very supportive to your well-being.
Right. There's nothing wrong with walking away.
There's nothing wrong with walking away. So today, without further ado, we're going to bring the beautiful, stunning Tippy onto the screen. Hi, Tippy.
There she is. What a beautiful background.
And what a wonderful smile. You know, you cannot ever feel down when you have Tippy and her smile. And I know that she has a huge community all over the world, and it's lovely to see people like Suki, who I know is going to be sharing her wisdom with us soon, and Audrey, who already has, from beautiful sunny Spain and Marbella. So welcome, Tippy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
Can you hear us fine?
Can you hear us?
Having me.
There you are. We can hear you now.
Yeah, you can hear me. Okay, lovely. Well, thanks for having me.
Well, you're very welcome. And to be really, as we've been saying, really, wisdom and positivity, they're the two things that everyone needs right now. They need to make wise decisions. They need to be positive in what they're doing in their life and not be taken out by what other people's opinions are and what other people are doing. So, please share with people how they stay in their power, and what do they do? How can they do it?
So first of all, I really believe that all the miracles lie in the unknown. So it's chasing the unknown the whole time. So in other words, rather than feeling safe in the known and that's my only comfort zone is when I know what's about to happen. As we all know, we're now in the completely out of control. No one knows what's going to happen next. And the only thing I have control over are my own emotions and my feelings and my thinking. So I wouldn't begin to even try and change anyone else. I'm just constantly back on to myself of how can I fall in love with my day. So it's all about, for me, it's literally falling in love with my day every single day. And the way I do that is as soon as I wake up, as I'm bringing into my consciousness, and everybody gets that nervous feeling when they wake up, don't they? And before I allow that nervous feeling to start chasing away with the known and what I have to do and all those things, I just say my little morning prayer, which basically switches on my heart and my light, if you like. And from that moment on, it's then my heart which is guiding me, and I will be driven in the direction of what's going to make my heart sing today, what people will make me feel lighter today, and just then using that as my guidance system throughout the whole day. So I'm always just chasing the unknown and what makes my heart sing. And that doesn't mean I'm just floating around in a cloud of fairy dust all day, because I do get on with normal day-to-day things, but within that I then try and find the treasure, because I just know it's all bubbling under the surface. So if I'm with difficult people, as you say, I'll be treasure hunting, because I know that light is in there somewhere, and I will be willing to see them differently, and I'll just wait with that in my mind. Okay, I'm willing to see this differently, I'm willing to see this differently, and then miracles just arise when I do that, because then suddenly you hear something about that person that makes you feel so much compassion for the human condition. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're all just the embodiment of eternal, loving, intelligent energy, and that is all of us. It's just expressing itself differently in me and you, but there's actually no place where I end and you begin. So I see myself in everyone and everything, and that sense of wholeness, I basically see we have two options. We can either be a projector of fear, and when we're doing that we feel small and constricted and limited and separate, or we can be an extension of love. So I can see very clearly when I'm being in love and when I'm being in fear, and then I pick myself up on that and I think, okay, no, you're just being a projector of fear now, let's go into the love. And it sounds rather sort of cliched, but when you are in love, you have so much energy, you want to share, you go over and beyond what you would normally do, your body heals, you rejuvenate, inflammation drops. So life just becomes one great big party, no matter what you're doing. You know, even the other day I like different things like Wim Hof breath and cold exposure, and it was lashing with rain and it was thundering and the river was brown and it was churning up, but my friend and I still went in the river in the pouring rain, laughing our heads off. And this is the thing, you know, we can't control every single situation, so therefore whatever situation I'm in, I'm going to quantum flip it, and I'm going to make sure that I see the gold in this moment, because it's everywhere and in everything. So it's just being the treasure hunter, really. And I've managed to do that after years and years of training and learning different skills. And I don't know if you have any specific questions about that, but
well, yes, we'd love to know the kind of skills that you have. I mean, you host a huge community online through WhatsApp, and you know the information that you share with people. And I know that you work with the Course of Miracles, and Marianne Williamson is a kingpin, I think, really, with how you teach. And for those people that are not familiar with Marianne Williamson's work, and you know how she's enabled the majority of people to understand going back to love. You know, she's written books about this. She teaches all over the world, and I always feel that you mirror everything that she stands for, speaks for, and that's so beautiful. And so many people need that, because truly, so many people are not in a state of love. Oh, even your cat wants to get in. Oh, look at you.
That puts you in a state of love, doesn't it?
What's your cat called?
Oh, I've got two, Bella and Little Peep, and they were just some little kittens we found on our land, and we fed them and everything. They were 2 days old, and here they are. Another miracle, you know, the beginning of lockdown. and we've suddenly got our children at home and everyone's constricted, and out of nowhere come 2 little kittens, and then, you know, that is just how our day started unfolding. So A Course in Miracles, I find, is amazing discipline. It's like the strongest discipline I've ever found for whatever the situation is. You got to find the love. Whatever the situation is, you got to find the forgiveness. Get over yourself. Get over that grievance. Get beyond yourself. So A Course in Miracles is an amazing thing, but Joe Dispenza's work is also incredible. I've trained in all sorts of energy medicine, like Reiki and hypnosis and you know, EFT, NLP, all these gorgeous modalities that are available to all of us, nutritional therapies. But in the end, everything seems to be saying the same thing. Everything takes you back to square one, which is love is the answer. So if you love yourself enough, you'll feed yourself well. You know, if you love yourself enough, you won't listen to stuff that upsets you. So it's like making discerning choices all through the day for what is going to keep me in this state of bliss, frankly, from the minute I wake up until the minute I go to bed. Now, it wasn't always like that, but I got glimmers of it over my life, and I'm like, I want more of that. You know, how do I take after that? And then, you know, you just keep developing, don't you? You cultivate that within yourself, and everybody's got a different way. And I'm totally open to anything anyone tells me. You know, like if someone comes into my life, I think, okay, they're going to teach me something here. Either they're going to take me beyond fear, like you two are by inviting me on your show, or it'll just be something amazing is about to happen because of whatever reason why we've all just together. And even the most annoying people in the whole world, I realise they're my blooming masters, and that it's only when my heart is closing that I feel this pain and annoyance. So when I can open my heart with that person, then I feel amazing again. So it's like happy days, and it was all in my head anyway. So
it's not always been like this, and I think what you need to kind of share with everyone, because I think we've all been on a massive journey, and probably we all get to that point of where we can support others because of what we've been through personally. And so maybe, you know, you've got 3 beautiful boys, you're married to a gorgeous Frenchman, you live in a beautiful environment which you've created, which comes complete now with 2 pussycats and an amazing array of butterflies, and you do live in paradise. But you've created that external paradise because of what you have personally experienced. So maybe you could share with people, you know, your personal journey of what you've gone through and your experiences.
Thank you. So when I was about 18, I started having neurological symptoms that weren't great, like very bad migraines and visual disturbances, and then I would lose my coordination. For example, I'd try and look through a door and I'd just bang into the door frame. I'd try and brush my teeth and my toothbrush would be somewhere else. So there was obviously something going on wrong in my body, and the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with me. But fast forward 10 years and my family had gone bankrupt. My father's business had gone bankrupt. Mother had a nervous breakdown. The bank wanted our house. And then my father had lung cancer, and I nursed him. I mean, it ended up he died quite quickly, 6 weeks later, but I nursed him until his last breath. And then a year after that, I was diagnosed with MS. But just before that, I was in personal financial ruin as well. And it just split up from my 10-year relationship. And then I'd just been diagnosed with MS. Like, yikes. And the doctor said to me, I must never have children because that would be very selfish. There was nothing more they could do because they tried all the steroids and all the different treatments. And I mustn't read anything about the subject because I might get so depressed I might commit suicide. And I was 28. So it's like, okay, so my life is pretty much over. But because I've always been incredibly curious and always seeking and asking what the question, why is it like this? I just bought every single book under the sun on the subject of MS and spent an entire weekend reading. And then I found a time of research from 1920s that if you change your diet, possibly this could help at least stop the progression, if not heal it. So I immediately gave up everything that I used to do, which was I stopped drinking coffee, alcohol, smoking, eating crisps, chocolate. My car was overflowing with bag butts and paper wrapping, all of that. And I just went completely plant-based and water. And that stabilized the condition for a few months. But then I realised it wasn't just my physical body, it wasn't just what I put into my mouth that counted, it was what was going on in my head, because my mind was just full of fear and doubt and regrets and guilt and shame, and it just it was non-stop chatter. So I thought I needed to do something about that, and then sent me on a path of looking at the mind and self-hypnosis and affirmations. I used to just say I am and always will be healthy, strong and fit. And so even though I was in a crisis and I was in survival mode, I was finding tiny little tools that were seemingly helping me. And that would then take me to a level of sort of stability, but then something else would go wrong and another cluster of events would happen. My sister got breast cancer, a beautiful friend of mine, had some tragedies going on, and then I started asking the big questions about, why are we here? What's the point of all this? It's such hard work, which then led me into energy medicine, because I went to see mediums to find out if life after death actually existed, because I was so devastated after the death of my father. I just couldn't believe this beautiful man never existed. And of course then I find that actually you don't really die, you just disembody, and your spirit is eternal. So that was really nice to know. And then I started learning Reiki and all these different things, and then I started seeing things that were beyond the visible spectrum. I started seeing orbs of light. I saw an angel in my kitchen. And this, I wasn't on drugs or anything like this. This was just like, I'm awake and I see an orb of light and I'm staring at it. And so this then took me higher and higher, or beyond the matter, the physical, the little tiny me that was battling against life. And I suddenly realised, and then someone said to me, actually, did you know that your external world is a reflection of your inner world? And at the time we had a neighbour that wanted to kill my husband, and we had friends that had stolen 250,000, and it was like another cluster of drama going on. And this person said to me, did you know that your external world is a reflection of your inner world? And I thought, but I'm a nice person, what do you mean? Anyway, that was when I discovered meditation, and literally properly going inwards and finding out what goes on within us, within our mind, in our subconscious. And so that then led on to more treasures being discovered, which means I'm most of the time fearlessly in love because of all of those things that have happened, because it's like, what else are you going to throw at me? And somehow you get to the other side, and keeping the hope. At one point, I really was nearly suicidal, because I just thought I give up on life, because I started feeling everybody's emotions. I couldn't watch the news, I couldn't be with people, because I could feel negative energy, and my breath when you were with all these different energies in the room of all these different people. And I couldn't watch the news, that would upset me too much, and I wanted to die. I just thought, I can't cope with this anymore, I just want to go to another realm. I want to be in the angel realm or some other realm that isn't this third dimension, because it's just overpowering. But then I realised, no, you just have to be more present, more embodied, and bring that beautiful energy, which we're all made of, really strongly and deeply and in a grounded way into everything that you do, and find the blooming treasure in everything. So then I'd test myself, I'd sit and watch the news, and then I'd just send blessings to everything I could see on the news. And so rather than getting diminished by it and drained by it, it was like, oh, okay, let's just send blessings to all of this. And then you feel amazing. The minute you start sharing energy, and in a non-personalised way, instead of taking it personally and carrying it, I just be like, okay, love, blessings, and then see miracles happening by doing that without depleting yourself. I'm like, oh my God, this is another level. So then I noticed a lot of healers were getting sick because they were taking everything into themselves, They were taking everyone's burdens into themselves, and I thought, no, this isn't right. There has to be an upgraded version of healing which doesn't involve taking other people's stuff into your energy. And then I got this download. I was driving to go and buy a ham-on just before Christmas, and I got this download. You have to create a love tribe for all these light workers to support each other, so that we can all be the wind beneath each other's wings, because we're out there doing our thing as individuals. It has to be a community there's no more ego going on, because everyone's got their own skills, everyone's got their own gifts, and there isn't a competition going on about, how much more enlightened you are, or you're a vegan, or whatever the story used to be in that kind of world. It's just, no, we're an extension of each other, and there'll be a day when I'm on downer, when I need a boost of energy from everyone and someone else today, and we'll just keep like a beautiful orchestra. And so that's when I created the Love Tribe. And then any thing that comes in, I think, God, this is so beyond normal in terms of supernatural or super amazing, or someone who does something so inspirational that you think, gosh, if she can do that or he can do that, we can all do that. So anything like that comes in, I just want to share, because I think as soon as you see the hope, I mean, they did an experiment. Am I being too chatty now or not?
No,
they did this amazing experiment with rats. I know this is an awfully sad story, but they did an experiment with some rats where they put them in a bucket of water, and they waited until they were literally drowning. And after 15 minutes, the rat going round and round and round and round would sink to the bottom, and it was going to drown. Now, they then discovered that if they took the rat out just before it died, and just didn't give it much time to recover, but put it back in the bucket of water almost straight away, it would then go round and round and round for 240 hours or something ridiculous. So how did it do that? It had been given hope. It had been shown that actually there was a possibility of being saved. And then it just multiplied its energy for hours and hours and hours. And I just thought, no, the energy of hope, the energy of seeing someone else there so it's possible for you. This is what we just got to keep sharing with each other. And that's what you're doing with this endeavour of yours, isn't it? It's like just bring in anyone that's done it differently or has just gone a little bit beyond the normal. And because then, I'm just a normal person, and I've healed myself MS. I had a brain scan about 7 years ago, and I nearly got laughed out of the doctor's office. He said, "You're a charlatan, I can't find anything wrong with you." And there had been plaques all over my brain and all over my spinal cord that were supposedly never going to regenerate. They were just going to stay as, historical damage. And but there was nothing there. My whole brain has rejuvenated itself, and I just know that we can have a chronological age of, I'm 55, but my biological age could be 30 or certainly 45. So we can have all these different ages going 28.
On. We're all going to stay at 28, regardless so chronologically old we get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm planning to live until I'm 122, and so carry on.
I'm still looking 28. I think for a lot of people, you think as you get older that you can cope with more, but actually sometimes you had more to deal with, which then is the reverse of that. And it's having the tools in your armory to be able to use that wisdom. And this is what, Rijooviness is all about, being wise, having a beautiful community that stretches all over the world, that we can all plug into and have the people to support us. And with the Love Tribe that you have, which is on WhatsApp, we're sharing with everyone on here today so that they can get in touch with you personally, because I know you don't use Facebook. It's being able to have that supportive community that when you need healing, and it's so powerful what we've seen, and I know there's a lot of people on here today that have witnessed the healing that has taken place when everyone is coming from a place of consciousness, of prayer, whatever you want to call it, regardless of what you believe in. Whatever it is, whenever you think about, you bring about. Okay, so we've seen it time and time and time and time again on the Love Tribe that actually when somebody is in a state of fear, or they're in a state where they need healing because their physical or their mental or their spiritual self is out of control and they don't feel big enough or strong enough or capable enough of creating that on its own. But when you all come together, because we are all one, that actually things change. And the healing takes place almost immediately. It's quite profound. It's quite incredible.
It really is. Even the funny little miracles, like it doesn't have to just be sickness to wellness or anything like that. It could be anything people want, because the sky's the limit, really, isn't it? I know we're all very interested in physical health and mental health, but you can have what on earth you want. And what I love is the idea that we can be in such diversity but unity, so each one individual is so beautifully different and like a perfect unique person, but we're coming into unity in a sort of, as best we can, non-judgmental way, allowing way. And this is the place, I just love being in my allowing joyful state of, and just allowing whatever happens. The person can come in crying, or they can come in, I don't know, it doesn't matter what their story is, but just allowing them to be whatever that is until such time as they evolve into something else, but not trying to pressurize them, because they're exactly perfect as they are, and that, whether they're meant to be going, they'll be guided, and each step is exactly perfect. And I see the magic in that as well. It's not about, like you say, at the moment it looks like I live in paradise, and I really do, but even in really harsh situations I can still feel that love bubbling over. Even the other day I was in the notaires office doing something super boring to do with paperwork, and I just started imagining all this paper used to be trees, and I was just blessing all these lawyers and all these fearful people, with their little pieces of paper, with so much love. It was just an amazing, I don't even know what I was signing. I could have just signed my life away. I don't even know, because I'm just in such a state of bliss. Maybe my husband's divorcing me, I don't even know, but I don't think he is.
Oh, that's so lovely. But I do feel that people feel limited. At the moment people feel, yes. And we see this a lot, don't we? That people are really struggling in their physical body, yes, and their mental body, and they feel very limited, yeah, about their choices, what they can do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on at the moment where we are being led to believe that we have to do what the government tells us to do and what is best for everyone. And that's putting an awful lot of pressure, yes, on people to make choices that they know physically is not a right choice for them, that will deplete their immunity. How do you feel that we can raise our consciousness and be with like-minded people so that we're not making decisions that are not going to be good for us, certainly health-wise, and that actually, is going to come out in the big scheme of things, that we're much bigger than we like to think we are, or we think we could possibly be.
So this is literally one of my favourite topics, because there's a lot of this whole thing going on about, the authorities and the government and they versus us, and there's that whole vibe going on at the moment, isn't there? And should you have a vaccine, shouldn't you? And is COVID real, and isn't it? And all these questions, which I'm not going to be controversial about, or I haven't even got an opinion, but all I know is that my belief system is my power, and I totally believe in the placebo effect, and I totally believe in the nocebo effect. So in other words, if I believe something is good for me, it is good for me. If I believe something is bad for me, it is bad for me. So, I approach everything like that, because I've done all of the dieting, I've done all the juicing, the fasting, the thising, the thating, and I use all of those tools intermittent fasting and all of that all of the time. But I now see that there's another level of consciousness, which is you can have it all, and no one or no thing actually does control you other than you. So I don't care if I have the vaccine, yes or no. I'm not going to seek it out because I don't believe in it. But I believe I've got an immune system, but I don't believe in illness either. But if for some reason I have to have it because it will allow me to travel and it will allow me to be, and I used to be an air hostess, so I used to have my vaccine passport, and wherever I went around the world I had to have every single jab on the sun anyway, so I don't have a problem with it. But when I have it, or if I have it, I will be imagining like the most amazing elixir of, I don't know, rejuvenation is going into my body, because I know it's my belief system which will be the controlling factor, not the government, not the rules, not what the scientists say on one side and what the scientists say on the other. It's my environment is my power. So if I can talk myself into, wow, like I say to people who are having chemo or something, before I used to think alternative or nothing, but now I think everything. I mean, doctors are the divine expression. The alternative is the divine expression. Everything's the divine expression. So if someone has to have chemo or someone has to have antibiotics and they say to me, oh my God, I've got to have this poison in my body, I'm like, don't think of it as poison. If you're here and you're having to have it for some reason, imagine it's the most incredible thing going into your body. And imagine you are there to bless the doctors and the nurses who are doing this for you. And just turn the whole thing upside down. So I spent my whole life turning everything upside down. So if something is causing me suffering, whether it's my own belief system about something, because I used to be very extreme in terms of what I thought was healthy and how to do it. We grow our own veggies, I juice in the morning, blah, blah, blah. But when I realised it was very much restricting my life, I didn't want to go and socialise, I didn't want to go to someone's house, I had to take my own food with me. It's like, oh my goodness, sure, there's a more liberal way of living, which is, and it was one of my children actually that said on a Ryanair flight, he ordered a ham and cheese toastie, and I'm like, oh no, Jamie, don't eat the ham and cheese toastie, eat these soy sticks I've got for you. And he said, but Mummy, you told me that if we bless something and it's all in our own mind, if we think it's really doing us good, then it really is. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're right. Okay, let's bless the sandwich and now you can eat it. So it sounds a bit mad, but in fact it's just the chemistry that I create in my own body. I've got the entire spectrum of all the chemistry I need. I've got my serotonin, I've got my NOS gas, I've got my DMT, I've got anandamide, I've got all these beautiful hormones running through my body that can do all this incredible stuff for me. I'm in that high vibrational state. But if I'm in fear and anger and resentment, and that's when I'm going to be inflamed, and the cortisol and the adrenaline and all of the destructive chemicals will be going through my body. So my own chemistry really that is going to be doing the damage more than, you hear about people that can do extraordinary things like walk over fire or drink poison and still be okay, but it's only got themselves into such a high state. So, for example, for the people that think the vaccine is the best thing since sliced bread and they're so terrified until they have vaccine, I think happy days for them. They're getting what they think is the answer to all their fears. The ones that think it's the worst thing that could ever happen to them, I'm just like, it's going to have to transcend that or try and avoid it somehow. But these are just the infinite options we have of how to deal with life and every single challenge that comes in. So I sort of apply that to everything that I do, and therefore very little can disturb my peace. Of course it does, still does. There'll always be something new that comes in and you think, oh my goodness, where did that one come from, to challenge me. But it's just getting over it quicker, whereas something might have taken me decades to get over, it might just take me seconds to get over. And I think that's what happens as we progress. We just get faster and faster at upgrading ourselves, don't we?
So where do people start? I mean, we've got obviously a lot of enlightened people that watch our show, and they have the tools. But where do we start with the tools? What's the one thing that we can do to change our state? Because when something goes wrong, or you're in shock, or you're having to make a big decision, or there's a massive change in your life that you are having to process.
Yeah.
And you said, as you become more aware of this, you've got quicker and quicker and quicker at doing it.
Yeah.
But what are a few key things that people can do to test the water, that can try that?
Yes.
If they've never done it before.
So I would say the quickest thing is to do the 16-second box breath. I mean, it's just you've just got to calm your breathing down. Your breath work, we know, is so amazing. But even 16 seconds of breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold empty for 4. In those 16 seconds, you are going to reverse the fight or flight response. And if you can reverse the flight or fight response, you can start thinking a little bit more clearly, because none of us can think clearly when we're in the survival mode. You know, we're in the reptilian brain. We're going to say things we don't mean. We're going to kick out. We're going to just... So we just have to be able to slow down our breath. I mean, if this is literally stage 1 for someone who's never even thought about any of this before, which was me sort of 25 years ago, in a state of chaos and panic most of my time, you know, putting out fires left, right and centre. When I started doing that slow breath, it was like, oh my goodness, 16 seconds and I feel so much better. And then, you know, you can elaborate with that, can't you? That's your first little building block, and then you can turn it into 32 and build up. And then if you need a mantra because your mind won't stop it, yes, but, then you think, okay, I need a mantra to overcome that. So I'll say something that will just drown out. All we're trying to do is turn down the volume of that. We're not trying to deny that this isn't happening. We're just trying to just tone it down a little bit so we can just hear something else that's a little bit more expansive. Because when we're in survival mode, we're so tinily focused, we can't see the bigger picture. So we can't think about what should I do next. So I say settle down the breathing, you know, drink more water. If those were the 2 things, you know, stay hydrated and breathe, those would be the step 1 and step 2. And even that is something that so many people don't do. It'll be the wine to calm them down, or the coffee to get them up, and it's coffee, wine, fags. I mean, this was me. Thank God I didn't get into drugs. If I had got into drugs, that would have been the other thing. I mean, I just tried psychedelics the other day, some mushrooms, but that's the first time I'm dabbling into... am I allowed to say that?
How did that go for everyone?
Yes! It was amazing mushrooms, magic mushrooms, grown by my neighbour. Actually, I said to the kids at the beginning of lockdown, yeah, exactly. But I said to my kids at the beginning of lockdown, if they have another power cut, because we live in the sticks, sometimes we have power cuts, if it goes on longer than a week, we're going to have to get the magic mushrooms from next door neighbour to have some entertainment. And my kids are teenagers now. In fact, they're the ones leading the way, especially my middle son. He's the one that's told me all about these things. So it's just keeping in mind, isn't it? I mean, and also then not getting attached to one thing, because what I've seen in my own life is every single stepping stone was amazing, but if I'd stopped there, I wouldn't have carried on evolving. It was a stepping stone. So nutrition, amazing, changed my life. Next step, what? Meditation, self-hypnosis, meditation, energy work. Okay, what comes after energy work? I don't even know. But keep an open mind, but don't get attached to something, because if you stop, if I just stopped at nutrition, I'd have missed out on all this other stuff. So it's just, and I think everyone's point of entry. So it's just, and you must know this with your coaching, you know, when someone first comes to you, you read them and you establish what's their point of entry. How far can you take them? Just a little edging up from wherever they are at the moment, and then develop from there. And that's the same with all of us, isn't it? So I don't know what comes after psychedelics. I'm sure we'll find out. But for somebody that is literally starting day one, feeling in overwhelm, it's just got to be the breath. And then there's all these beautiful free apps like Insight Timer that have just been lifesavers, where you have these guided meditations. And when people say to me, oh, I haven't got time to meditate, I can't meditate, I said, look, hang on a minute, you can do a 2-minute anti-anxiety meditation with a voice you like. You know, go on the app and find someone's voice you like. It's all for free. I mean, something like 40,000 or more guided meditations on there. So, and then it's whatever somebody feels they can do. I mean, it might just be a dog walk, or it might be, you know, sit at home and stroke your cat might be the answer for them. But the one thing I do think is you've got to do something differently. And what is that amazing phrase that everyone always says? If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. So therefore, do something different. So every day, do something differently, and get out of bed on the other side, have tea instead of coffee, or I don't know. But you just got to keep on changing up a little bit. It's in the unknown, in the place where you've never been before, where the miracles lie. So you've always done it that way, time to do it the other way, and then just keep exploring, because it's like an experiment, really. That's how I see life. And there's nothing wrong with trying something and it's a disaster. Never mind. Okay, dust yourself down, get up and do something else.
And about your book, because you're obviously just about to finish your book, which, I'm sure that everyone listening to this and listening on YouTube, and do please share this recording with those people that could really have the support that Tippy is sharing with everyone, because it's just such invaluable tools to have in your armory of life. And without them, I think without them right now, with everything that's going on, you become so physical that you're doing what you've always done, as you said, and you're wondering how you're going to get out of it. You're going round and round and round, and if you don't learn new ways of doing things and go up a level and start learning, as you personally experienced, and I know so many people would share that with you, share your book and what that's all about. So I think it's wonderful that turning life's impossible into I'm possible. Same words, but
I'm possible. My sister gave me this lovely plate. Hang on, I'm possible. We take that bit off. Let me see if I can do that like that. So take that bit off, and everything's possible. And I just think, every time somebody condemns you with something, like when the doctor said to me, "This is incurable," you've got to just break down those words and say, okay, it's curable from within, then. Okay, it's not curable as far as that person's concerned, but it must be incurable. You're insane, hopefully. I'm sane within, thinking differently from everybody else. So the book is basically my journey to wellness, with all the different aspects of the physical body, the mind, the emotion, and then the spirit. So the journey I have taken with all the different tools that have helped me through this journey so far. But the reason why I haven't finished it yet is because there's always something else. There's always another chapter to add. So I said, you just got to stop now. Just stop. But because every day is a new learning thing, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm willing to see it differently. I've just seen it so differently. I've got to add that bit too. So anyway, but I'm determined to finish it very soon.
Good, because I think the world needs it, and it's a beautiful way of realising that how many times do people limit themselves by saying it's impossible, I can't do that, and actually it's a bit, we had Ted Shaw on last week, and he teaches people how to firewalk, and the thought of walking across hot coals at 14,000 degrees, it seems pretty impossible, yet thousands and thousands of people all over the world have put themselves in the state that they need to be in. And I know there's some people, who are listening now who've done that. And, both of us have, put arrows and literally broken the arrows in our throat, because it seems impossible, but actually it's our limiting beliefs of what we're capable as. Because we see this physical self, and we don't see the energy that we radiate, and the
power behind it all.
Yeah, and I always used to equate it when I lived in London, and I used to go on the tube every morning, and you can get very close with people on the tube, or they could be a few feet away from you, but you could feel their energy, and they would make you change state. You could be in a great space and then sharing a tube in a space with somebody who's 6 feet away from you, and it would change your state because of what they were radiating. And it goes back to what you said, where we're all connected, we're all one. And here, for instance, we had La Sofia, she blew her top, the volcano, and she's 120 miles away, but her energy came straight over Barbados and changed everyone's state here. Everyone was looking forward to the country being completely open, and everybody was in a great vibe, and the sun was shining, and we were all ready for a beach day and by the bar. And suddenly something changed everything, and created shift, created change, and incredibly so. You know, every Barbadian on this island is, you know, got a smile on their face and a shovel in their hand, and they've cleared it, and we're all back to sunshine again so quickly. And I think, you know, when we work collectively together, it's incredible how we can change the state of everyone. Just by your smile, you know, the minute you come on, you know, everybody smiles because Tippy's smiling, and I've always said that about you. And just by smiling at somebody else, and I think that's been difficult as well with everybody being masked, you know, we've not been able to see somebody's smile. We haven't been able to feel that embrace. And, you know, people being separated has been a real problem. I know I've struggled with that, you know, and if, you know, I'm still one of those people that I'm a hugger, so, you know, go and hug a tree, but it's not the same as a human.
Yes, same.
Exactly.
But in that case, we've had to go so much deeper, though, haven't we? Because now you have to really look in someone's eyes, and you have to be able to smile with your eyes, and you have to open your heart, and they can then feel your embrace, like from your energy rather than your physical form. So it's really, I like now you have to be really present with someone when you're talking to them, because you can't lip read anymore. You have to really, whereas before we were all quite distracted and what have you, and you know, of course none of us want to wear the masks, but I very quickly realised that if I'm having a battle with the mask, again, I'm going to be in my limited state rather than in my, you know, lovely other state. So I was trying to find ways of overcoming that, and so, you know, the eyes and smiling. Now you can see when people say, you see their cheeks rising, and you know, even if you just do something with your heart just to show that you're trying to communicate. And then I found this anyway, I won't maybe tell you that story, but
share.
I just saw that the mask was just a little bit of material with some elastic on it that was being completely demonized. And then I found a G-string. I thought, this is a little bit of material with some elastic on it, which if I dangle in front of everyone, no one's going to go, oh my God, that's a G-string. It wasn't mine, I just found it in the laundry basket. And I thought, oh wow, you know, it's how you see it. It really is how, this is a little bit of material with an elastic on it. So then that made me laugh when I put my mask on. I mean, no one else knew I was laughing about that, but it's willing to see it differently, because there's for sure another level of joy that can come out of this horrendous thingy. I mean, I don't know if I've got time for this one, but one time in Frankfurt, we had a show selling our photocopiers, because that's our main business, and suddenly we were surrounded by guards with guns pointing at us and at our stand, because they said we were doing something we shouldn't have been doing, and they were confiscating all our products, and we were going to have to go to court, and it was just some horrendous, awful situation unfolding. And I knew that I had a choice of going into fear, because I felt really fearful. I mean, this is like a disaster, and we were being filmed, and all the other people were laughing, and it was the typical Andalusians, you know, saying fake goods. Weren't, but anyway, that's what the whole thing was. So I suddenly thought, okay, I've got to go to love. So I put my hands together, and I just looked at every single sort of policeman or whatever they were in their eyes, and said in my head, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you, the Ho'oponopono mantra. But I just sent love to each one, okay, 10 different men. So by the time I'd finished sending them love, and meanwhile they're packing up the stand, and we're phoning our lawyer, and all sorts of chaos is going on, then there's this scruffy old man, and I'm in such a trance-like state now, because I'm just so in love with all these different men with their guns. I land on this scruffy old man, and I'm staring at him in bliss, and he explodes with anger, and he says, what are you doing? I said, I actually don't really know what else to do, so I'm sending you love and miracles, because I really don't know what else to do in this situation. And he exploded, and he said, I used to work for the German police force, I'm a detective, and it's because of me that we're doing all of this. and why are you sending me love? And I don't want your love. I left my first wife because she was a Reiki master and she'd seen an angel. I go, don't tell him I'm a Reiki master and seen an angel. So anyway, I said, it's only love, it's only love, it's only love. And he said, I'm going to find you tomorrow because if I've got a headache, it will be your fault. So it looked like a total disaster. Anyway, the next day, I do all my mantras and my prayers, and I'm like, oh. Next day I go and try and find this man, and I find him in the huge Frankfurt conference centre. I had Manfred waiting for him to punch me or something and telling me he's got a huge headache. And he picked me up and spinning me round and round. He said, it's true, it's real, it's really true, I felt it in my heart. Yes, it's real, it's the life force, it's what you're made of, what I'm made of. And then for 4 days he was coming on our stand, people for healing. I mean, we're selling photocopiers, nothing to do with. And then on the Monday morning we were supposed to go to court and it was going to cost us thousands. The prosecutor came to our stand with an apology from the general authorities and gave us all our products back. So I just knew that was because I chose the higher frequency of love over fear. And I know that sounds, again, cliched, but it's so powerful, even in day-to-day life. And as you say, a smile or a kind word, this is healing. This is making someone feel that they're whole with you. And we can all do that. We can all smile. We can all look at someone in the eyes and send them love in our heads. Don't have to be some extraordinary healer to do that. That's just normal human kindness, isn't it? And that's what makes the world go round. Human kindness.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I think there has been quite a lot of unkindness. I think that's all. People are quite in their state of fear at the moment. They're very opinionated.
Yes.
And they have to justify their decisions about what they're doing. And, you know, we had a couple of situations where, you know, I don't like wearing face masks. The only time I've actually enjoyed wearing a face mask is when, you know, this volcano has poured its ash all over me because of it's protected us from the ash fall, and peppermint and tea tree oil have been amazing in them. And up until then, it's been a real issue for me. And so I've had to kind of get into state when you know it's being not can't go anywhere unless you wear them. And so it's right, you have to change your sort of your perception about what's going on. But some people are getting very stressed, they're getting very angry, and that doesn't do you any good to do that, you know, with how you're feeling, you know. No. That in itself, if you're in a negative state of being, you will attract a negative state of being. And therefore, yes, you're justified to be negative because you're creating negative. And so, yes, you know, to hear that story is so powerful, Tippy. And I think there's lessons there for all of us that, you know, when you're trying to get your point across, or you are against what is being asked of you or being told to you, that actually if you just give the situation, the person, the place, whatever it might be, unconditional love, you know, and that yeah, again, going back to love, Marianne Williamson, all the great sort of, you know, pioneers of actually teaching us to be in a state of love, then it's the most powerful tool we have.
It is, because people think it's, well, some people used to think it was weakness, but in fact it's so powerful to be unconditionally loving. It really is. And the thing is, you then develop such a compassion for people, because I truly believe everyone is doing their best with what they know at the time. You know, I look at my own evolution. I was a scared, terrified, timid, I don't know, whatever you want to call me, hiding person from life. So the version of me 20 years ago, it's just not me anymore. You know, I'm a new person now, and every day I feel like I wake up a new person. So if I encounter somebody that is in that state, I just think they're doing their best with what they know. They really are doing best with what they know. So either we inspire them by just loving them and accepting them and literally loving the hell out of them. I said that to one bloke once. He was shouting at me, and what do you do? I said, I'm going to love the hell out of you whether you like it or not. Anyway, that's another story, but it's just because then I'm going to feel good, you know. I know that when I'm in love, I just feel like my heart's exploding. And when I'm not in love, I just feel small and constricted, and my tummy feels horrible, and you know, your nerves feel on edge, and you don't say the kindest things, and blah blah blah, and then you don't really like yourself. And the whole thing is, we're meant to be falling in love with ourselves, and that's not in a big-headed sense. It's like, come on, you are a sacred being. It's a miracle that we're all here on this beautiful planet. And if people really love themselves and feel that energy within them, they know it's also in everybody else. So it's not just you, it's not me that's found the divine essence of me. I found it in me and now I can see it in everybody else. So it's so cool. It's just so cool.
Yes, because
everything is cool. Even these challenges, because they really test you, don't they?
They really do. And you know, we're getting some amazing feedback from people who, you know, just need to hear this, because maybe they are in that state themselves of unconditional love, and that can sometimes feel a little bit lonely, because what we're seeing around the world right now is a lot of people being displaced and not in a state of love. So to create a like-minded community where people are actually being supportive, helpful, kind, you know, that word kindness keeps coming up for me this year, is that whatever else is happening to you or around you, be kind. And there is a lot of people being unkind, and the minute you're unkind, it puts you in a state that is negative, lowers your vibration, lowers your immune system, and like you said, it makes your tummy churn, and it actually, at the end of the day, just before you're about to go to sleep, you know, you reflect on that and you think, oh, actually I could have done that in a different way, and that's, you know, that's not good, you know. So I think a lot of us are going back to making sure that we are mindful with our gratitude, you know, waking up with gratitude, going to sleep with gratitude, you know, that essence of prayer, whatever prayer means to you and how that is for you, is actually, it's actually almost like the pillars of, you know, support that you need for your self-love in order to be able to give other people who are in a lower vibration, are struggling more than, you know, we might be, and having to learn the lessons that you're so eloquently gifting us today. And you know, it's just been incredible. I mean, you know, an hour has gone so quickly, Tippy, and I know that we're all so grateful for your wisdom, and you know, thank you so much. I mean, Reg and I have been pretty speechless in the show, because we just cannot thank you enough. You're certainly going to be in our prayers tonight for all the wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You know, thank you so much. We would love to have you back on the show another time, and you know, to expand on what we've already begun. And certainly when you finish that book and press the you know, press the copies, I know that we'll definitely be posting that on our website so that people can get a copy of that.
Oh, thank you.
Before we go today, Tippy, you know, how do people get involved with your WhatsApp community? Shall we share that so that everyone can connect?
Go ahead. I don't know how many people can go on a WhatsApp group, but you can give my number out, my telephone number. I have got an email address as well.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll make sure that when we do the recording, I say the royal we because it's always Reg that actually does all of the technical stuff, because I'm the most untechnical person in the world. That we'll make sure that people can connect with you. So, you know, blessings from our home to yours, Tippy.
Thank you so much for your time. We really
thank you both so much. You two are amazing. You really are.
It's been an amazing hour. So thank you everyone for joining Rijooviness TV, and we look forward to being back on Monday, and we again have incredible guests next week. So tune in, share the channel with everyone, share the love with everyone, stay high in your vibration over this weekend, and blessings to everyone. Yeah,
do get involved. We are looking for others to share their wisdom and to share their stories, so feel free to contact us. And also join us on Rijooviness TV and Rijooviness, the Facebook group, where you can also ask for support and also support others.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay.